Hi guys, my name is Shivani and you are welcome to Happy Holi. When you are thinking about conception, I am assuming you have already been told to track your cycle, to plan intercourse around ovulation, keep stress at bay and avoid packaged foods. So I am going to set all of that aside. We are going to deep dive into the actions that you can take to not only get your body baby ready, but more importantly to be able to have an impact on the overall quality of the egg and even the sperm. So let's get started. Number one, eating a light early dinner. You know how you always kind of plan that, okay, I'm gonna get up early, but you are never able to do that. And even when you are able to do that, you feel so sluggish that you go right back to sleep. One of the reasons for that is having a heavy dinner late at night. Kate Stillman has a book called The Body Thrive, which is an absolute must read, and she lists this habit, which is the habit of eating an early light dinner, as the first habit out of the 10 habits that she mentioned in her book, because everything kind of stacks up to this habit. And as we go further in the video, I will tell you how. I had been having my dinner by about 6:30 for quite a few months prior to when I actually conceived my first child, and that was working so beautifully for me because I didn't have any problems waking up earlier. The bloating was gone, my skin was looking better, these unexplained pains and aches were kind of dissipating. So when you're tracking your cycle, you will notice that once you embark on this habit, you will find that your cycle also falls into a rhythm. I was also sleeping much better, and talking about sleep, let me share the next thing with you. Sleeping before midnight and waking up not later than 2 hours after sunrise. You know how you're always told that it is the 8 hours of sleep that is important, and if you're anything like me, you have probably tried to hack that by saying, okay, even if I sleep by about 12, 1, 2, I can get my 8 hours of sleep and just wake up later because it's a weekend, right? I have done a lot of that, and my body has not responded well to that at all. Establishing a daily rhythm of sleeping early and waking up early has been absolutely critical in sort of ensuring that the hormones are working correctly. So establishing the right circadian rhythm, that's what it's called, and I'll list a study below which talks about how circadian rhythm impacts your fertility. But in my case, I have experienced it firsthand. The good thing about having a 9 to 5 job is that it at least make sure that you wake up on time, but sleeping on time is where I think the challenge lies for most of us. So that is what we need to kind of work on, and let's just ensure that you're sleeping way before midnight, and that will be easy to do if you've had an earlier lighter dinner, which is to tie in with my previous point about how it all stacks up. You will see. So yeah, when you eat early, your body has about couple of hours to digest that food, and then you go to sleep, and you're able to sleep on time. Because sleeping on time is a challenge and you have to anyway wake up by a certain time, that is the reason a lot of times you end up reaching out for your tea, coffee and a lot of sugary foods that you need that instant hit of energy, which should ideally be coming from deep rest. But because your body has not gotten deep rest, it is kind of asking you to get that snack, and it is feeling peckish all the time. So sleep early, wake up fresh, and make breakfast a part of your daily ritual, which brings me to my next point. Eating home cooked, local, fresh, seasonal meals helped me tremendously. My breakfast has always been the favorite meal of the day for me, and it usually constitutes of things like poha and upma and parathas. And now one thing I used to do was having chai or having tea with my breakfast, and I would also feel the need to have tea right after my lunch, and that's something I gave up because tea again hinders the absorption of the nutrients that are in your body. I did not give up tea completely, by the way. I was having my chai, I was doing everything normally. It was just the timing of everything that I tweaked a little bit. So instead of having chai with breakfast, I substituted that with home set curd, which brings me to my next point. Eating home set curd with every meal was another change that I incorporated based on Rujita Divekar's guidance around why home set curd is so important, because it has all this great gut bacteria and it helps your body assimilate all these amino acids. So once I learned to set curd, there are multiple YouTube videos on how you can do that. Once I learned to set it, I was feeling so accomplished, and dahi with parathas became our staple food for a while, for not only breakfast but for lunch and dinner as well. Speaking of parathas, Eating parathas without achar or pickle is virtually unheard of where I come from, but in the recent decades pickle had got a very bad reputation, so much so that my grandmother had stopped making it for a while because nobody was eating it because there was so much oil and so much salt. But sense prevailed, and thanks to people like Rujuta Divekar, pickle is back in vogue, and I am so grateful for that. Homemade pickles and chutneys are actually very intelligently designed condiments which help your body assimilate B12, not only assimilate B12 but also make its own B12. So you'll never have a B12 deficiency if you are consuming your homemade chutneys and achars. Weight training. I started lifting weights, 2 to 3 times a week under the instruction of a very good trainer. Now, this was again very, very new for me because, I always used to think that gyms are something that other people go to and weights are something that other people lift. And, so this was a big lifestyle change. But, Rujuta speaks so much to the benefits of strength training that, I was really happy to find a good trainer. She in fact says, in her typical straightforward style, she says that if you are weight training, always use protection because your ovaries are always ready. That is the kind of impact that weight training has on your reproductive system and your hormonal balance. So we are very fortunate to live in a day and age when you actually physically don't need a trainer to kind of train you, and it's okay if the gyms are closed. Get yourself a good online instructor and kind of start weight training immediately, and it'll be so beneficial. If weight training is still something that you are evaluating, yoga is always a good idea. So in Ayurveda, the birth of a healthy child is seen as equivalent to planting a tree. It needs soil, it needs nourishment, it needs water and all of that, right? Over here, seeds are nothing but healthy sperm and ovum, and soil is nothing but healthy uterus. This is known as Bij Shuddhi in Sanskrit. So my pro tip for you here would be to not only think about conception, but to really think about doing things so that you optimize your entire pregnancy. You will have a very smooth pregnancy, you will have great postpartum recovery if you follow some of these lifestyle changes right from the get-go, and they are very chota changes, they are not really big changes. So I hope you enjoyed the video today, and I will see you next time. Till then,